good, and people have been enthusiastic, and it's nice when to finally finish a movie and kind of get it out there. And
when did you finish it?
Well, gosh, we just finished it in August. I mean, talking about print mastering and the very last steps. So we finally, it took a while because we were shooting last year, but it's nice to have it over and have people seeing it.
And Venice, how did that go?
Venice is lovely. I love Venice. I had a really nice experience there, and again with this movie, I had a wonderful time. It's sort of smaller and more romantic, and it's just a film festival, and there's like a little island, and it's just gorgeous to be there, and there's all kinds of international films, and it's really a wonderful place. It stands in contrast to Toronto, although Toronto's great too. It's just bigger and very North American, but you get to see wonderful movies.
You're in junket mode here, which you didn't really have to do so much of that over there, right?
Yes, you do some publicity for Europe, but yeah, there's some heavy junketing that goes on.
So this was your follow-up to Gone Baby Gone, which I love.
Thanks.
And I wondered what kind of decisions you made about what kind of style you wanted to employ here, what kind of level of budget, what kind of scale of movie, and how you made those decisions in this case.
Well, there were a lot of considerations in terms of budget. One was what they were willing to give me, so that set a bar. But really, it had to do with kind of trying to do a certain kind of movie. On the one hand, we typically have very large, very expensive, very big CG tentpole movies, and on the other hand, increasingly we're having lower budgets or marginalized, unconventional dramas. And I liked this movie because I saw it as an effort to kind of bridge those two, to do something that had commercial elements, that had it as a bank robbery sort of genre, but within that, hope to do it in kind of a unique way, and also had this story, character drama. This guy who was looking for redemption and kind of finding it through love and trying to extract himself from a really painful situation. So the synthesis of those things kind of put us at a budget place that was not super low but and not super high, and it meant that the studio was able to, or would be able to, make money even with a modest box office return.
I think you're very smart. That's exactly what I figured you were doing.
Oh,
because it's so hard to make those movies now.
It's very hard. You have to really limit
costs.
costs.
Do them, too expensively, and then they become this way. If you have a modest success, it's still a success.
Right. If it succeeds modestly, the studio still makes money. I can go back and make an argument to make it again. I don't need to put the onus on the movie to have to make $1 jillion, and so it's a little bit daunting, but because it's a tricky thing to do. You could be neither fish nor fowl. All kinds of things can trip you up along the way, but it's also a really fun
It
challenge.
looks like you were trying to make a commercial movie, an accessible movie, a movie that was fun. You didn't, you've got lots of good character elements in there and a great romance.
Thanks.
And I think Rebecca Hall is very well cast.
She's wonderful, Rebecca Hall. She really is great. I was excited and pleased to get her, and she has this quality of being sort of very normal, very real, very a real person, but at the same time she's kind of captivating, and you want to watch her, and she is beautiful, and that's a hard thing to find. If I had just some mega starlet there, put her in the part, you would have sort of known exactly kind of what was going to happen to her in the movie, and you would have had a whole bunch of assumptions. Whereas with her, I hope the audience isn't quite sure what's going to happen. She could disappear halfway through. It could end really badly. It could end well.
And you also have this interesting dynamic with Jeremy Renner, where on some level you're sort of asking us to root in a way for these guys in the middle of as the movie shifts in the second half, in the middle of their last heist. You're in and out with him. Sometimes you don't like him, sometimes you do.
Yeah, that character that Renner plays can be a cliche. I mean, people have been trying to do the Joe Pesci character from Goodfellas, ever since Joe Pesci did it. And when it's done really badly, it's just the live wire, the loose cannon guy, and he's kind of unappealing, and you never know when he's going to pop. And I knew I needed somebody to make it more interesting and more human, and kind of on the one hand, not necessarily likable, but somebody that you could understand,
dangerous,
and maybe even empathize with, and who's also quite dangerous. So that's a tough thing to do, and Jeremy's just a really fine actor, and I think he accomplished it really well.
Definitely. And then